My actual name is Bizad. It's Bizad Yossi Sarshar. Dude, my dad last week called me and cut me out of the fucking T-Mobile plan. And that was the last time I had to him. It was $30 a month. $30 a month. That was the only thing that we had still connected to us. And he's like, fuck out of here. Go get your own plan. And I told my mom. My mom lost her shit. She was like, why the fuck would you do that to him? And my dad's like, I never did that. And it started a whole thing. And I was just like, all right, bet.
So from Tucson celebrity to finance mortgageer to DJ in Scottsdale now, and then what else? So you're involved with Becky. What else are you involved with now, or what?
So I had the wonderful opportunity of becoming an investor and co-owner of Rodeo Dallas, which I worked at Varsity Tavern for approximately 2 years, a year and a half, and my dream is to own nightclubs. And this also ties back to the DJing thing. I genuinely love to make people happy, whether it's through music, whether it's, creating an environment that, again, people can forget about their shitty days, celebrate their accomplishments. If I can enhance your life in any way, shape, or form and remind you why it's important to wake up every day and feel blessed and feel like you can celebrate something, then I did my job. And I told JD, listen, man, I don't want to work for you to open a bill, or I don't want to work for you to manage. I want to work with you to accomplish something and have a venue under my belt and build an empire together. This was like maybe a year after we met, 2 years after we met, and he kind of kept brushing it off. And he kept saying, hey, man, I don't have a position for you. I don't have anything for you to do. Then one day I get a phone call from him after the mortgage industry started to slow down. I read data. So when I started to notice, the downfall and the trend of I don't know if anyone would understand this, but the 10-year treasury bond was like fucking, if it goes above 2.0, you're fucked. You should expect a crash. So I started noticing it at like 1.89, 2.0, and I was like, all right, well, maybe it's time to exit. So I put some money aside, and instead of spending it on bottle service, which I had learned my lesson at this point, yeah. I was like, all right, cool. And I called JD and I said, listen, man, I'm ready to go. You tell me what to do. And he had a vision and he had an open spot for me and he taught me the ropes and he said, listen, you learn all the operations. You learn how to run this business from A to Z. Then we'll give you an option and you can buy in with me and we can figure something out. And although it's nothing massive, it's still something that I am very proud of being able to accomplish at the age of 26.
Yeah.
And that's just step one. And he's the only person in this town, along with Burd, that has now given me opportunities because they genuinely see what I'm capable of and they genuinely see my value.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for JD. I'm so grateful for Burd. I'm grateful for you for putting up with my bullshit for 5 years and advising me properly and, kind of keeping me on the right path. And David too, David Aravachi from when I moved here first and I had no money and I had nothing, this man took me to the gym every day, took me to dinners every night.
Yeah, he's dedicated, that guy.
He really made sure that I was afloat and I never felt like I was in the situation that I was in, which was very meaningful to me because fake it till you make it, right? like for real, that's an actual concept and it works. It works. It's not necessarily fake it till you make it. It's manifestation. And David made sure that my mindset was always, you got this, you're a beast, you channel that inner beast in you and you're gonna go further. You're just, as long as you remember and you remind yourself that this is who you are, this is what you're capable of, you come from a good family, and possibilities are endless. And that was, David took care of me until I got there. And then once I got there, I couldn't help but invite, as soon as I started making money and I started buying tables, it was so funny. It went from, David, me and David hopping around Old Town and people saying, oh, David pointing to me and going, oh, he's okay, to me grabbing David and being like, he's good.
He doesn't go out very much anymore these days.
No, David's real dedicated to the sobriety life and getting his shit together, which is awesome. But I will also give you one more story that was super funny. So obviously, you know, I don't know if we should talk about this on camera, but but you know, we know everybody in Old Town, and everybody's got some level of a comp tab, and we are friends with all the bartenders and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So before I knew anyone, this is maybe like the second or third night that I went out. David took me out. We were bouncing from club to club, and you know, it's like we're literally in a venue for 5 to 10 minutes max. So David was getting me drinks all night, and I felt kind of bad because I was like, oh shit, like he's paying for alcohol, like he's like getting me drinks all night, and I didn't have any money. So we get to Casa, and I go, I'm gonna go get us around. Don't worry. Fuck. I went to the bar. I ordered 2 Casa Repo shots on ice or whatever.
$100.
$100. I didn't have $100. I overdrafted my account to go get him a drink to prove to him, like, hey man, I'm not here to mooch off of you. And then what did he do? He took a sip of it, put it on the speaker, and we walked right out. And I just went, oh fuck me, like I didn't even know what to do with myself. And I told him this story the other day, and he like smiled and he laughed. He's like, damn, like that's deep. Like that literally meant a lot for me. You know, that would have been nothing for him, but it was a lot for me. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess
this was the first time you went out with David.
This is
you
maybe
didn't know
like
any bartenders.
This is maybe like the second time. Yeah, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah, that's rough not knowing anyone.
Oh,
It
yeah.
gets real expensive.
It can get expensive fast.
Bro, the seltzers too. Like Happy Dad. What? Happy Dad's $16 a can right now?
Yeah.
$16 a can?
Yeah.
Really?
Bro, after tip and everything, Nico, JD's brother, paid like $48 for 2 cans. He lost his shit.
How much is Becky in the clubs? In the bars
Depends
right
on
now?
which club. I mean, Hot Chick, we're at $7-8, but if you were to go to
it's not bad.
the district, it'd be like 12 or 13 bucks.
Oh, really?
And I think that's the thing. It's like, okay, we had our 2020, 2021, where we were the only market open next to Texas and Florida.
Yeah.
So we thought we could get away with those prices, having the demand of influx of people.
Yeah.
No, people can't afford that on a regular day basis. So we like pushed away those locals.
Yeah.
And I think Old Town has taken like a huge hit.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
like, humble yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. They need to tone it down a little bit.
Just,
Pull back.
It's
I think what was going on is like they got off to the races and everything got so expensive, and then now that it's finally like coming around in terms of inflation, people are kind of starting to feel that, and the prices are kind of getting more hefty on people's wallets.
It's like the exact opposite of what we should be doing. We're doing.
Yeah.
like yeah. There's to a certain degree, right? What do people do when there's a recession? Drink.
Yeah.
And then what? You want to capitalize that and fucking triple charge everyone? Eat a dick, dude. Like, let people be depressed and not totally.
But where do you think that price is coming from? Is it the bars themselves making those prices?
Yeah.
Or is it or the distributors themselves are going up too? Do you think?
No. Coming from someone that's literally a bar owner and that ran operations, we set the prices. Yeah. And I have pushed on several occasions, like, hey, we can't do that. Like, and I made it clear, like, yo, this doesn't make sense. We're gonna deflect the crowd that we want. I am not going to charge $14 for a fucking well bottle of tequila. Yeah. Like for a shot of a well bottle of tequila. It just doesn't make sense.
So Eric, so tell us, how did you get involved with Becky, and how did this all come about?
Well, it came about actually being in the bars and restaurants, right? So, to go back to Yossi a little bit, I see like a younger self in me through him.
Yeah.
Just aspirations to entertain people, to always keep it light and to keep it, creative. So my background, I came up in the bar restaurant industry.
Yeah.
My first goal was to be an owner too. Like when I was 20, I was bartending for Les Carreri at Access.
Yeah.
And I looked up to these people and I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to get behind the bar and you can get any girl you want and you have the whole control. And then I saw how much money they were making and I was like, oh, screw girls, let's get money.
Yeah.
And I saw Les keep opening up all these places. I'm like, he's a boss. He's the godfather of Scottsdale.
Yeah,
and then I worked for Ryan Jock at Pussycat Lounge. I was like, oh, he's a boss too. And then I think my background of just working for these operators.
Yeah, they were hungry back then,
Oh yeah, like they pretty much created this culture we have now, like the the Ryan Hibbert, the John Wright, the John Dolan.
Yep.
And, you know, I found my mentors along the way. And then I'll tell a story about when I was bar managing over at Jefe. I was running Whiskey Row and El Jefe. And this nice kid comes in, you know, he was selling some tequila. He's like, hey, you know, do you mind if you bring on Casamigos? It's George Clooney's new drink. And this is 2013.
Yeah.
Like,
no one knew about it then.
No one knew what Casamigos was. We were the second market they kind of like were trying to build traction with. And the guy's name was Hunter. And he didn't say anything about like, yeah, this is my dad's tequila. Because if you guys know, like the whole story started in El Dorado. The money behind it was Mike Meldman. He's big in hospitality, started Discoveryland.
Yeah.
And then Randy Gerber was the marketing guy that had a rum company. He was like a model, and he just knew how to like market the beverage. So they had all the pieces. And I'm building a relationship with Hunter. We're going out, we're partying, and he's getting to know all the Old Town guys, like Drew at the time. We were working together at Jefe. This was when they just opened up Hi-Fi. So Jordan Zeeb was over there. And then we were all kind of like close. And Hunter's like, hey, do you guys want to come down to Mexico? And we're like, yeah. He's like, well, bring 20 of your favorite servers. And I'm like,
yeah, all right.
Yeah, let's do this. So like it's me, Drew, Jordan Zeeb. I think it was one other guy, Chase Kennedy. He moved back to Chicago. Great dude. So it was like, you know, Chase and Drew were running Hi-Fi at the time. I was running Jefe and Whiskey Row. We got invited down. They flew us out. It wasn't on Casamigos' dime. It was on like Discoveryland's dime. And the first like 5 minutes, of course, Drew is in a golf cart with like 5 girls. He overloads the golf cart going max speed. I think he found out how to take the governor off because it's El Dorado. This is like, if you die and go to heaven, this is where you like rise. If you love tequila, beaches, and infinity pools and beautiful women. This is where all like the elite would come live at El Dorado. It was like a members club.
So it was a good time.
It was a great time. Like, he ended up flipping the cart the first 5 minutes, and the girl got like road rash burn where half her skin is like burned off. This is the first 5 minutes. And Hunter is inviting us into this oasis, like high-end place where no outsiders are supposed to be allowed. And we are just running amok. Like we're drunk on the golf course, barefoot, just golfing. My first experience of like comfort stations, where one comfort station would be just all candy. Any kind of like candy, like from Mike and Ike to like Chewy Runts, you know? Anything you grew up on. And then the next would be like burgers and hot dogs. In a comfort station, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but we go golfing at some of the higher end golf courses. It's like a gazebo condo on the tee box where you go just get drinks, get food, but like Mike Meldman is just over the top with everything. And he made sure that was known. Like we would be playing volleyball. Let's say we're playing volleyball, walking along. The staff made sure that we had a margarita in our hand at any point.
That's awesome.
Let's say we were just drinkless.
Just the best.
There was a margarita cart guy. Like, hey, Migo, you need a margarita. Like anywhere we went, there was a Casamigos tequila cart. And we're done playing volleyball, and then we go to the bar, and we're just ripping shots of tequila, and the shot glasses are just frozen, like they're just frozen ice cubes. And you're just throwing them at the bell. Like there's this game where you just take as many shots as you want and try to hit this bell.
That sounds like a great Mexico time.
I love Mexico. I want to have distribution in Mexico. I want to live in Mexico. And so that was like seeing that dream world inspired me to come back to reality and be like, hey, can I do this? Am I able to like put this drink into life? Because I had all the relationships. That was my unfair advantage.
So this really fun like time in Mexico kind of initiated that flame a little bit.
It planted the seed.
Yeah.
And then to fast forward a little bit, I had 3 Canadian girlfriends come out and visit, right? And we were at the pool at Optima at the time, and they were like, "Hey, we're thirsty. Let's get some alcohol." Yeah, let's get some alcohol going. We go to the little the bar inside. It's like Kaleidoscope, and they serve alcohol. And they were like, "Oh, they have nude vodka sodas." And I'm like, "The fuck is a nude vodka soda?" I thought that's for later. But like, and I'm like, "Okay, tell me what this is." They're like, "Oh, it's like a flavored, seltzer. It's with vodka in it." And this is before like White Claw or Truly blew up. This is like where they really hit it big. This is before that. And I'm like, "Great, tell me about it." They're like, "Yeah, these 3 Ontario guys in Canada, they started a startup beverage company and they're crushing it." So then the second seed was planted.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to do
things getting
this.
run. You're like,
Yes.
hell yeah.
And then to come back to El Jefe, the last investor to make sure El Jefe happened, which was 2011, we opened. It was Jeff Wright. He was the last one that came in. I think it was 300,000 or whatever the amount was, made sure it happened.
Yeah.
And he founded Four Loko and Mamitas.
Nice.
His company is Fusion Projects out of Chicago. So I got to know him because when Four Loko was crushing, it still is. He was buying Clase Azul through me while I'm bartending.
Four Loko was wild for a while there, man. It was everyone was.
I was about to say, I can't tell you. The first thing I think of when I drink a Four Loko is let's fight a kid.
Let's fight a kid, yeah.
Let's just fight a kid.
He has more stories than anyone else, and I was able to get a couple meetings with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, tell me what you want." And I was like, "Hey, man, can you just list out from point A to point Z of what I need to do?" And he's like, "Sure." And he's like, "I will warn you. You sure you want to do this?"
That's great. You had a mentor like that, someone that's willing to do that too. That's hard to get.
I had all the resources. I still have all the resources in front of me, and I think that's what made me do this crazy thing.
Yeah.
I think you need to be slightly delusional to make things really happen in life.
No.
Because if you just sat down and were super analytical about every opportunity, you probably wouldn't get out of your bed.
Yeah. You wouldn't take risks.
I think when people are calling you crazy, that means you're on the right direction. You know what I mean? Because people are like, "This guy is nuts. What is he trying to do?" But then like you make shit happen, and that's when these great businesses and great friendships and all things are born, man.
I think the odds become more in your favor the more you put yourself out there and the more you keep trying.
Yep, I agree.
We've gone through hell and back with this beverage company.
Yep.
And it's all about putting the right human resources into play. The opportunity is there because I have the connections, the relationships that can take us to the next level. And I think the only thing that's missing is just like a big capital partner.
Yep.
In beverage, that's pretty much
Oh, I could imagine.
Number one,
It's such a hard space to get into, but then it's big money that's basically involved in this space.
Yeah.
So getting that capital raise to where you could compete fairly is really the next game. It's the next level thing to get big in this space for sure. So I was talking to Tao the other day, and he was mentioning that you guys do you guys were doing private equity, and then you have this other thing that's kind of a capital raise. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. It took us about 8 months to get compliant with the SEC.
Yeah.
They're super strict, as we know, the Securities and Trade Commission. So they did a full background on every single individual. Our books are wide open. You know, they scrutinize every aspect of the company. It's like pretty much an IPO for private equity.
Yeah.
Except you're not able to like exchange the shares as much as you want, right? So it's like this platform that was kind of put together by this Kevin O'Leary, which is one of the sharks. He backed it, and it's for startups to kind of just grow through mini ambassadors, right? Where you can get in for $250, right? So that opportunity is not normal for most companies.
Yeah, you don't see this type of approach very often. So I was kind of interested in learning more about it. So basically, $250 buys you a certain amount of equity in Becky at this time, and it's is it is it where do they go to do that?
Yeah. There's a link through our website, right? So like Start Engine is the actual platform.
Okay.
Very easy to use, very easy call to action, click of a button. It lives on our website. It lives on our social media pages at tastebecky.com. You could swipe your credit card for $250. Let's say you, instead of spending $250 on Amazon for the day on groceries or some bullshit you don't need,
Mastros.
why don't you go get some equity and actually watch a brand grow right in front of you in your backyard? And it's more an incentive to have, these ambassadors. Like, let's say, for instance, you could go to the store and buy a conglomerate like Anheuser-Busch product.
Yeah.
Or you could buy a startup brand that you believe in, you actually like the brand, and you want to see it help grow.
Yep.
It's a good opportunity. It's not like a massive risk for you. It's $250, and then you can slowly watch it grow in front of you. So I think that's our biggest play, is like getting the community involved.
Yeah.
We've done plenty of charity work with local communities, and now it's time to like, hey, this could be a fun opportunity for you. We started in Arizona. We're growing. We're pretty much a local in Nashville, Tennessee as well. And it's Becky versus Goliath. So we need strength by numbers, people to actually support our brand, which it has survived over the last 3 years, just the brand alone.
Yeah.
And we're going to innovate the hell out of the product. We're essentially a marketing company at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think that, and I want to touch on that for sure, is a dream of everyone. I mean, for most entrepreneur-like minds, right? Or anybody that's my age group, younger, just starting to get their feet wet, your first thought is, I want to own a business, right? Or I want to have ownership in something. I want to have an asset. And that gives people of all shapes and colors and demographics, it gives people access to have something under their belt. That $250 is nothing compared to the longevity of the product, where it's going, and then you being able to say, technically speaking, oh yeah, I have ownership interest in a seltzer product, Well,
you don't see that opportunity very often either, so it's definitely unique, and I actually like that. I think in terms of community engagement, I think that is kind of interesting approach for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be great. So, if you like the beverage, buy some equity. It's that easy. But so where do you see Becky kind of going in terms of the future over the next 5 years? What do you say?
Yeah, great question. I think we stay firm on not going completely national too quick. I think we buckle down on getting traction on Arizona, Tennessee, Southern California.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into Texas and Florida very soon. And I don't think you need to go spiral national so quick. I think you just need to really hone in the data-driven markets, which I like to call the fun markets, the 24/7 vacation markets like Florida, California, Arizona, where it always feels great to pop open a canned cocktail. The plan is to really hone in on Gen Z, where they shop, the GoPuffs of the world, the Trader Joe's, the Whole Foods, those kind of stores. Because overnight, let's say we finally get into one of those retailers, our valuation just spikes, our sales just spike. It's fun being in the bars and restaurants and the clubs.
Yeah.
It's just like a bragging right. But once you get on the shelf, it's game over.
I know, that's where you make the bigger money.
That's where I'm focusing on, and that's where collectively as a team we're focusing on, because there's this data reporting publication. It's called Nielsen Report.
Yep.
And there's only so many retailers where you get credit to be on that Nielsen Report. So the plan for 5 years is to truly tell our brand story better. Our actual story of what Becky is, what Personality Juice is. Get into those retailers, get some data, and then partner up with a bigger chain or a bigger beverage house, whether if it's Anheuser-Busch, whether if it's Diageo, someone that could take us to the next level.
Yep. So if you were to kind of convince someone in terms of a short, trying to sell a Becky or talk someone into drinking a Becky, how do you explain that story to get people like motivated to drink it?
Yeah.
Because there's so many choices, and I'm just kind of curious what you'd say. What makes Becky stand out?
We're to the death of boring drinks. If you are that person that likes fun and edgy and lighthearted brands to where you can resonate your personality towards something, you're going to want that brand over something that's just bland. So we're going to hit you over the head with flavor and with personality, right? So we're the purple cow, and we're willing to go on that edge to be different.
Yeah.
Whether we're the liquid death of alcohol.
Yeah.
And who says that we're not going to go in the non-alcohol space too? I think there's so much white space on what we're willing to do and other companies aren't.
Yeah. So in terms of your approach, in terms of marketing and like kind of creating like the fun around it, because it does sound like what you guys are selling is you're selling like a fun time, good time. Becky could be a little bit of a slut. She could be a little bit shy. She could be lots of things. Becky's actually my mom's name.
That's fucking awesome.
So she loves this.
Cheers to mom.
It really is though.
Okay, Rebecca.
Yeah, it's Rebecca. But yeah, no, I love the story behind it. I love that it's kind of a fun thing, and you don't see a lot of different alcohols doing that. It is kind of interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to kind of the marketing that you're doing. I see the things that you're doing with Riff Raff and some of the other social media stuff that you do on boats and stuff with like just a good time. Yeah. It just makes me want to be there with these Becky outings, man. I never get invited. What's going on, Eric?
That's gonna change. It changes right now.
No, but no. In all seriously, it does seem like just like a good time in terms of drinking a Becky. That's the vibe that I get from your marketing so far. Yeah. So I love what you're doing. Any plans in terms of things that people could look forward to in terms of what they're going to see with Becky, the things that are in the works, where they could get Becky besides the bars right now?
Yeah, we're in every Total Wine in Arizona. In Tennessee, we're in a bunch of like independents. We're working on, kind of name brand retailers. That's the plan. What's to come is new flavors.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
These new flavors are going to be a hit just with the flavor in itself.
So are you adding on to the flavors, or is it going to be a whole new line, or what is it going to be, or what?
It's a whole new line.
Whole new line. We've been sitting on the same four for about 3 years now. And if you truly want to be different, you have to continually innovate.
Yeah.
So finally, we got a little bit of cash in the bank to innovate. We're going to be partnering with Santan. They are truly creatives, and they understand quality assurance. They're going to help us innovate and get new products. So from the Cabo Cooler to the Pink AF to a tequila transfusion, we're actually introducing a new mascot underneath the Personality Juice mothership, which will be the Coyote Cooler. I can't discuss much, but it's going to be driven towards the golfers and an opportunity to kind of like really take on that space.
Nice.
There's a lot of collaborations that are going to happen this year. We just hired Riff Raff as our chief creative director.
Which is awesome, by the way.
I mean,
he's a fun guy.
He is a personality, right? So how we're going to get to the next level is by bringing on creative, enigmatic people like that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And he was one of the original influencers,
Yep.
And what he's going to bring to the table is just definitely his marketing insight, his creative insight. There's a potential to do Spring Breakers too. Personality Juice Studios. There's a chance for us to, that's what I mean too. Like, we're a marketing company too.
Yep.
We're going to do whatever it takes to get content, whether if it's cans and hands in a movie, or if it's a music video, or if it's just something that no one's ever seen before. If we have to go back to the bag in the box, if we have to go to Jello shots, if we have to go to +2s to where it's Becky Fun Bags, we'll do that.
Yeah,
we are going to do that.
I love that. You want to try it. You're trying to see. You're exploring. It's Becky Personality Juice is definitely I could see you kind of going so many different directions in terms of this. You know what I mean? So it's just really just how creative are you guys in terms of getting to all these different spaces?
Definitely emphasis on personality.
Yeah, and let me tell a story real quick on personality juice. Like, where the hell did personality juice come from?
Yeah.
So, back in Florida, my dad lives in Florida, and his good friend Jack, he basically was with the Philadelphia 76ers early on. He was part of the front office, and then he helped open the Orlando Magic. He was like employee number 3. He was the CMO for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
And they're in a community together in Florida, and my dad just got a divorce. He moved to Florida, needed some friends, and found like this community inside a community. So basically they had like an entertainment district in their neighborhood. It's Baldwin Park in Orlando.
Yeah.
And they hit it off. And then, Jack is, he's a marketing wizard too. He's like best friends with Shaq. I've been to his house where his fucking shoe is like the size of your door.
I can imagine.
And Jack just being funny, he would tease my dad because my dad would like sometimes takes him a minute to get out of his shell. Like a slow start to the day.
Yeah.
And he's a Jack and Coke drinker. And Jack would be like, "Hey, Jim, you need a little bit of personality juice, man. You're slacking today. Like, you need some Jack and Coke." And I was like, and I was witnessing this dialogue. I'm like, has anyone ever used personality juice before? This is so marketable, whether if it's coffee or whether if it's energy drink or if it's alcohol. Gets people out of their shell. And I was like, Jack, I'm taking this. And this was like 2017, and then it carried on and carried on. I was like, when we needed a company name, personality juice.
It's a brilliant thing because there's so many of us that are, like when we first start going out, whatever, or we're just kind of quiet in a group setting that people we don't know about. You start having little sips of alcohol, you start getting a little bit more wild, a little bit more open, start saying more shit. You're like, hell yeah, let's go. Yeah. Personality juice coming out.
Total victim of that right here. Exhibit A.
Well, this guy it takes it to the next level. Personality juice.
It's
boy nice.
It's human. I just think it's human nature. Like, no one is supposed to be just like that immediately.
Yeah. We all have to warm up,
So yeah, and we provide that.
That's freaking awesome, man.
Some lubrication for your social
some
endeavors.
Personality lubrication. Let's lube it up with some Becky.
Personal enhancement. Personality enhancement. There you go.
Just give me an idea of this shit.
Yeah, personal enhancement sounds more like Viagra or something.
That's our next
Personally
commercial.
Enhanced.
That's our next, yeah.
Full erection with a Becky.
Slip.
I don't want to advertise this shit, but I was the face of a sex chocolate company. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Chocolate company? What?
Sexual chocolate?
Yeah, no, it's literally you eat it and you get horny as shit, but it's like legal. It's not like Viagra or anything. You don't remember this? No. Bro, holy shit, it's fucked up, man.
How can I invest?
So we took
Is it $250 to join?
So this guy, his name is Oliver, marketing genius. We one day I get a phone call from Jamie, photographer out here. She's awesome. She calls me. She says, "Hey, I think you'd be a great face for this sex chocolate company that wants to do a photo shoot with you." And I started laughing, and I was like, "What?" And mind you, I went through a little bit of a heavier phase, and I didn't look too good without a shirt off. Maybe with a shirt on either. I was just like, shit, I don't know if I can do this. And she was like, just come, like, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, like, you got this. So, like, this is like maybe 15 or...
Maybe you have to look hungry for the chocolate.
Yeah,
I don't know.
15 or 20 days, like, before. Next thing you know, I'm, like, not eating and, like, working out, like, 3 times a day, trying to get as, like, slim down as fast as possible for this fucking... What I thought was just going to be, like, a shirtless shoot. Next thing you know, I show up.
It's a porn.
Bro, I'm in my underwear the whole time taking pictures with a girl that was engaged. She will not be named. She didn't know either. So, like, we didn't know what we had to do. And, like, it was, like, super sexual, and they were like, oh, you should try. Before we started taking pictures, they were like, oh, you should try the chocolate. So we're like, all right, cool. So we ate the chocolate, thinking like it was some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like it's placebo.
Something you get in a gas station.
And like we're sitting there, like we're starting to take pictures, and like 30 minutes into these pictures, we're like staring at each other, like, oh god, like what's happening? Like what the fuck? Like oh my.
Like what kind of positions were you doing, or what?
I mean, I would whip out my phone and show you pictures, but again, this is extremely incriminating. But I am the face of this company. If you go on the website, it's literally me. And this motherfucker ended up selling the company like as of like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah, guess how much I got paid for that shoot? $100. Guess how much he sold the company for?
100 million.
7 million. But yeah.
7 million? Oh, he sold way too young.
Yep. But hey, I got $100.
You came out big in that one.
Well, yeah, no, I was thinking like, what?
Think
what
about
I
this
just
idea.
realized. I thought it would be. I literally just like realized that. What if?
So I pitched this to one of our first investors because I was like, alcohol is like a natural effort. It's not natural, but
It's a little bit of an aphrodisiac.
yeah, it's aphrodisiac as it is, but maybe we add a little bit
Spike
more
it up a
in,
little
right?
bit,
And call it Sex Panther. Or something. Like it's all marketing, right? So
You just hand it to your buddy. You're like,
Yeah.
go talk to that girl.
if we gotta put some Spanish Fly and Becky, or if maybe that's our non-alcoholic, or it's a liquid, Viagra.
Energy boner drink.
Yeah,
Take too much.
How quick do you cave?
pretty damn quick. Like you want to talk the opposite of personality juice? You turn into a mute, and then you're just like sunk into it. And I'm like, all right, I'm a weirdo, but I'm horny as hell. I'm not going to say much, but it could be an opportunity.